I'm actually reporting from Atlantic City. I got a place for those who just joined. I got in the Chabad house here. I am, we're Skyping from there. We're zooming in, I mean, from the Chabad house over here. I want to show you something. Let me just see if I can access my WhatsApp. Why is it not working? Let me try this. I want to show you a picture. That maybe I'll be able to show it soon. Okay, hopefully it will work. We'll try WhatsApp in a little bit. Okay. So let us go to, let me try one more time, see if the WhatsApp's working.
The artist colony.
Okay, it's not working. So, okay, so let's just go straight to the Chumash. So we're going to talk about the formation. There's an interesting Rashi. I mean, a lot of it's numbers today again, but basically it's the formation, the way the Jewish people traveled in the desert. I'm not sure about this, but I think there's a debate. Always is a debate. If they traveled, subject to discussion, if they traveled the same way they settled. We're going to see in today's Chumash that Rashi is of the opinion that they traveled exactly the way that they lived, okay? So the Mishkan was in the middle, the tabernacle that traveled with them was in the middle, and the Levites lived around the perimeter, right around the tabernacle, and then the 12 tribes, 3 tribes on each of the 4 sides, camped on an exterior perimeter. We're going to see today how far out they were, that they were 1 kilometer about from the Beis Hamikdash. The reason is we're going to see so they could walk on Shabbos, because you're not allowed to walk out of your city if they're like no man's land. You're not allowed to walk through desert more than 1 kilometer if there's no houses there. So they were far away, but not too far enough that they were able to walk to the tabernacle. And I saw because Moses would teach every Shabbos, like the rabbi is supposed to teach the community halachas, laws, and the Torah on Shabbos, so they would be close enough that they would be able to travel. Okay, they would be able to travel to get to the Mishkan. But anyway, we'll see that inside. Chapter 2 in the second Chumash, as we're holding chapter 2, today's Tuesday. Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, Ish al digloi, a man shall encamp by their flags. Everybody had flags, like today, like there's different sports teams. Every team has their own, their colors, their own flag. So there was different colors, as Rashi says. And you would basically, I guess, if you imagine that, right, if we're going to assume that there was about 2 million plus people in the desert, how do you know where you're supposed to go, right? How did 2 million people know? So it seems they had these massive flags, and they had colors on their flags. So each of the 12 tribes had their own, color. And actually, it says very interesting that the color matched. It was color-coded. The colors matched the color of your gemstone in the breastplate that the Kohen would wear. Very interesting. The Kohen wore a breastplate with 12 gems in them. Each gem represented another tribe. And we had the list when we were learning the buildup of the tabernacle, the Mishkan. We learned about all the 12 stones and their colors, the different, the jaspi and the different, the emerald, the different kinds of stones that were there. The color of your stone was the same color of your flag. So you would have 12 tribes with 12 flags. And then, right, as I'm saying, each side had 3 tribes. So you had 4 sides, 3 times 4 is 12. You also had like the head flag. So which tribe was like the leading tribe of that section, the north section, the east section, the south, and the west section, which, imagine like an army, like a battalion, right? So you'd have, which is your commander, or which battalion are you part of, to the east, to the west, like I said, the East Conference, the West Conference. So you also had the same thing over there. You had your flag, and you had your area, your location where you were, right, guys? And we need 3 people to turn on their video. We have 1, so I need 2 more people to turn on their videos to give the class. So we have Ira, I have Gregory, and we have Irina. Okay, very good. So, no, we only have 2. Ira, where'd you go? Okay. So, Ish al digloi, a man by his flags, and it gets even more interesting with the formation of the flags in the desert. We have it even more interesting. He says, that's one explanation. They traveled based on their flags of their father's house. Rashi says something else very interesting. Who decided who should be on the north side, who should be on the west, who should be on the east and the south. He says, very interesting that they copied a different formation that took place once in history. When did the 12 tribes travel in history? So if you go back, when Yaakov asked his son Joseph to bury him in Israel, right? Joseph took his father, Yaakov, after his father died in Israel, he buried his father, after he died in Egypt, he buried his father in Israel right away. Yosef and the 12 tribes will have to wait till the Jews leave Egypt a few hundred years, a while later. But Yaakov, as soon as he died, they took him and they buried him in Hebron in Israel. When they carried him, who carried that body? His sons, his 12 sons carried the body. Who stood on which side of the casket? Yaakov originally ordained, you stand here, you stand here, you stand here, where all the 12 sons should stand. And exactly the way they carried their father's casket, that's exactly how, very interesting how the Jews are going to travel now in the desert that we're learning. That's what it says. That's what Rashi brings from verse number 2 here. Okay, Ishal Digloi, verse 2, with their signs, with their flags, and with the passed on historical message of how it was passed on. They have to travel, and they would travel around, just like they traveled around the casket. They would also travel around the oil moyed, the mishkan, the tabernacle. They would travel away. Now, as Rashi brings here, as I mentioned before, how far from the mishkan were they? They were a kilometer away in those days. Measurements, they didn't use kilometers. They called it a mil. As the commentaries say, a mil is 2,000 amos, which is about 3,000 feet, right? I don't know. We can look up the numbers. I'm assuming that a kilometer is 3,000 feet. Why 3,000 feet? As I explained, it's very specific. Because I guess they wanted to go as far away as they could. So God forbid, maybe nobody should walk into the tabernacle by mistake, which is a very dangerous place for a guy who's not to be where he's not supposed to be. But they wanted it to be close enough that they could walk on Shabbos without having to violate a prohibition. And the prohibition is that one is not allowed to walk out of their town. As long as you're within the town, you could walk, as far as you want, as long as you're in a residential area. But once you get out of a residential area, like in Israel, there are certain towns which is just desert right next to it. You only have up to 3,000 feet, 2,000 amos, 1 kilometer, 1 mil in order to go. Okay, so now we're just going to give you the numbers and we'll go through it really quickly. And we'll go through the things, and we have a heavy class of Tanya today. Let's go through the Chumash, and then we'll get to the Bachainim, Kedma, and he's going to give you the exact way. I'm going to see if the WhatsApp open yet, because I want to show you on WhatsApp how the Jewish people settled. I just want to see, my phone for some reason is not allowing me to do it. I had a picture for you guys, but we're just going to learn the text, and you'll get the picture already in your head. Bachainim, Kedma, those who traveled to the east. Mizracha, to the front, east, the front delegation, the front battalion, the east one, and each battalion, I'm going to call it a battalion, I don't know what the right army words are, but they included 3 tribes in each one. Dagel Machne Yehuda was the flag of the tribe of Judah. Tzevaisam, they went with their divisions, by their legions, the group. Benasi Livnei Yehuda, as we mentioned the other day, who was the head of the tribe, right? Was a man called named Nachshon ben Aminadav. He was Nachshon, the son of Aminadav. How many people were in his specific tribes, battalion, group? There was, in Yehuda's group, of 74,600 people. You want to know who joined Yehuda? Who was in that eastern battalion? Part of that group was the tribe of Yisachar. The head of Yisachar's tribe, his name was Nisanel, the son of Tzuar. And how many people were in his tribe? What was the tally of the soldiers, the people in service in his tribe? Was 54,400. Mati Zvulun, and then there was the third tribe in that battalion was Zvulun. Eliyav ben Chelon, the head of that tribe was Eliyav, the son of Chelon. And Zvulun brought to the service there, to the people in service there, Shiva v'chamishem elef arba meos, 57,400. So when you tally the whole battalion of the eastern battalion, the whole of the group, and it calls it the group of Yehuda. Yehuda was the leading tribe of this battalion of these 3 tribes. There was 186,400 soldiers or men in service from 20 to 60, and they always went first. They were the first guys. So Rashi is going to tell you how it worked. So the eastern group, the eastern battalion, under the leadership of the tribe of Yehuda, who the guy in charge of that battalion, his name was Nachshon ben Aminadav, the east would always go first. And Rashi explains to you, how would they know when to go? I think I mentioned this yesterday. There was a big cloud that would always rest on top of a tabernacle. All of a sudden, that cloud would start going up, up, and the Kohanim, Yehuda and the Kohanim would see the cloud going up. What would they do? They'd grab their trumpets and start blowing it. And based on the cycle, I believe we're going to learn about it, how they would blow, not right now, but I think we'll learn that later on. Then Yehuda would then travel. This whole battalion, the 3 tribes of Yehuda, would travel. And then another group, which we're going to learn about the next group, group 2 will travel. Not the eastern group, but the group of Ruvain, which is going to be, we'll see soon, which the southern, so the eastern group would travel, then the southern group would travel, then the tabernacle itself would follow along the eastern and southern group, staying in formation of how they live when they parked, when they settled. So the eastern group would travel, then the southern battalion would travel, then the tabernacle would travel, followed along by the western group, which was under the battalion leadership of the tribe of Ephraim, and finally the northern group, which was under the battalion of the tribe of Dan, they would travel too, and that's how it would go. So let's just go again. Eastern group, eastern battalion, followed by the southern battalion, followed by the tabernacle, followed by the western battalion, followed by the northern battalion, and that is how 2+ million people would stay in formation with their flags. Pretty cool, amazing, huge battalion, huge army, like traveling in the desert. So let's go through now the southern battalion, the flag of the tribe of Ruvain, who led the southern battalion. Teimana, the Tzavaisa, Benasi Lubnei Ruvain, the head of the tribe of Ruvain, his name was Elitzur, the son of Shteor. How many people were in Ruvain's tribe who led the southern battalion? There was 46,500 people in that battalion. Okay, and together with that battalion added Simon, Shimon, and the head of that tribe, his name was Shlumiel, the son of Tzurishadai. And he brought, and Shimon brought 59,300 men in service into that battalion. Umate God, and then there was God. The head of God was Eliasaph ben Duel, was Eliasaph, the son of Duel, who was in that battalion. And they brought 45,000 Sheshmes for Chamishim and 650. So how much was the total amount in the southern battalion? So there was a total of 150,450 people, men of service in the southern battalion, and they were led by the tribe of Ruvain. The southern battalion was led by the tribe of Ruvain. And then what happened after the second battalion? So the eastern battalion went with their 180,000 people, 186,400 people. The southern battalion then traveled with 151,450 people. And then the Mishkan, the tabernacle itself, followed along. Verse 17. And then the tabernacle surrounded with the perimeter, with the Levites surrounding that perimeter. Exactly how they settled in this long tabernacle in the middle with miles and miles, kilometers and kilometers of people reaching outwards around the thing. That's how they traveled, to Levites surrounding it in the middle. Exactly how they settled, that's how they traveled. Each person according to their flags, and they had this whole flag system, so you knew where, I guess you couldn't get lost because you knew where your tribe was. Let's go on to the western battalion. The tribe of Ephraim, the Tzavaisam Yama, they traveled to the west. Benasi lived in Ephraim. Who was the head of the Ephraim tribe? Elishama, the son of Amihud, Ben Amihud, the son of Kudim Arba Elef Chamesh Mes. They had a smaller tribe, 40,500. All of Lamati Menashe, and together with him was his brother, was the tribe of Menashe. Benasi lived in Menashe. The head of that tribe was Gamliel, son of Pedatzur. Together with him, he was even a smaller tribe. He brought 32,200 people to the western battalion, not the Western Conference, the Western Battalion. Umate, Binyamin, Benasa, the Benyamin, Avida, Megidaini. Then there was the Benjamin tribe, joined the Western Battalion. And the Benjamin tribe had Binyamin. Yeah, Binyamin had Chamisha 35,400. Kalab Kudim Nachne Ephraim. The total Western battalion had Me'es Elef, Ushmainas Alafim, 108,000, I think is the number, if I'm correct there. 108,000, yeah. And 100 Umeya, the Tzavais, Ushlishi saw when they traveled third, they were the third battalion to travel. They had 108,100 people under the leadership of the tribe of Ephraim. Then we go to the last one, to the to verse. I think we're holding 25. Dan, camp of Dan. They were to the north. The northern tribe traveled last. The head of that tribe is Achiezer, the son of Mishlai. And Dan had 62,700 people. And together in that with the northern group battalion was Asher. The head of Asher's tribe was the guy by the name of Pagil, the son of Achron. And together with him, in Asher was 41,500. We have two more tribes left. Umate, Naphtali, and Naphtali joined that group. Nasi Naphtali Achira Ben Enon, the head of the tribe is Achira Ben Enon, was 53,000. And 400. He brought to that northern battalion. And finally, called Kudim Machidan, you also had done Me'ez Elef, Shivim, Shiva Vachamishem Elef, Sheish Meis Lachrena. You saw like the last group, and we call it the group of Dan, who led that group. The northern final battalion to travel was 157,600 people of service that were in that group. Eleb Kudei Bnei Yisrael, Leveis Avesam. These are the groups of the children of Israel. Leveis Avesam, as we ordered, they were organized by the fathers' houses. And what was the total number of all the battalions together? Was Sheish Meis Elef, as we learned the other day. They had a total of 603,550 men between the age of 20 and 16 to service that traveled in these battalions. And this is all not including the Levies, Evan Zimmerman and his family. They weren't counted among the people. And yesterday we learned not to count the Levites. They were in the middle and they had their own counting. The Jews did exactly as Hashem told Moshe. And they traveled to their flags. Everyone has a good organized system. Everybody traveled with their family, and they traveled how they were organized and how their system was to be organized in the system of how the Jewish people would travel together. I still can't. WhatsApp's not working, so I'm going to skip the picture today. I can't give you a picture, but I think you guys all get the picture. Any questions or comments on the really cool formation of today's Chumash and how we learned that the Jewish people would travel? Any questions or comments? Yes, Ira.
They were not allowed to intermarry, right, between the groups?
So there was it's a good question. I hate talking off memory.